buzzing, wallets on the grind, digits in the ledger, futures intertwined. Satoshi whispers, secrets in the breeze, digital gold stacking sats with ease. Proof of work, my hustle never idles. Hold on my survival, charts like Bibles. Altcoins flipping, portfolios tripping, DeFi dripping, liquidity sipping. Good morning, crypto, the block don't sleep. Digits dance, and the market runs deep. Good morning, crypto, the bulls might creep. When the whales make waves, the tides gon' sweep. Candlesticks flicker, patterns in the flame, bears in the shadows, but I'm ahead of the game. Decentralized vision, my keys, my domain. From the ether to the moon, I'm riding the chain. Metaverse flexing, pixels on my fit. NFT collection, rare gems, no split. Staking on the low, APY on the rise. Good morning, crypto, welcome to the skies. Mining dreams in a digital mine. Gas fees high, but the payoff divine. Flip that coin, watch it land on its side. Heads or tails, the future's decentralized. Fees high, but the payoff divine. Flip that coin, watch it land on its side. Heads or tails, the future's decentralized.
Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
There we go. Good morning, good morning. Hope everyone's having a great morning so far. We got some heavy data to talk about this morning. So before we get into all of that, let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success today. You know what I got pulled up in the background. It is that stock heat map. So let's dive on in, get you prepped for some success today. As you can see, we had a bit of a mixed bag yesterday. We got some nice upside in some of these sectors off of that jobs revision, people being a little hopish for a rate cut, but we will kind of have to see with today's PPI data if we're really going to get that cut. We are seeing a little bit of some downside action this morning. We do have Apple sitting down 0.3% in the pre-market. Nvidia making some moves towards the upside. It is sitting up 1.88% this morning. We have Berkshire Hathaway sitting in that neutral range, zero change on the board, so extremely neutral. we've got Amazon down 0.64, we've got Eli Lilly down 0.12, ExxonMobil looking a little bit nice with some upside movements this morning, up 0.3%. We've got Tesla up 0.45, PNG sitting to the downside 0.16. Microsoft was sitting very neutral this morning, now seeing a little bit of some green, up 0.05. We've got Google sitting in that same spot, up 0.05, and we've got Meta sitting down 0.11. Hopping over to the crypto side of things, we are seeing some movements over there this morning, but for the most part, we've got massive red bubbles here on the daily. I say massive, but it's like massive for the TradFi markets. We got 1 to 2% to the downside. We do have a few in the green. Let's scroll on down, dive into all of that. We've got Bitcoin down 0.6%, Ethereum down 0.9%, we've got XRP sitting down 1.4%, BNB with no change on the board, we've got Solana sitting up 0.7%, Dogecoin sitting up 0.3%, we've got Cardano up down 1.5%, Tron with no change on the board as well. We've got Chainlink down 1.2%. We've got Hyperliquid up 1%. We've got SWI sitting up 2%. We've got Stellar Lumens down 1.9%. Bitcoin Cash sitting down 0.7%. Seeing a little bit of green on that hourly. Avalanche sitting up 2.6%. HBAR down 0.3%. Might need to take a look at that H-bar chart this morning. We are going to try to take another trade as a community. Let me get some thoughts on up or down real quick, and then we will go from there. We got up or down. If y'all have any assets you would like me to take a look at in that top 20 to potentially take a trade on together, go ahead and throw those in the chat for me. All right, and let's hop over to those fear and greeds because we are still sitting in that neutral range on the stock side, crypto side of things, barely maintaining that neutral range. We almost got that dip into some fear. We did see a little bit of some price holding up at some key levels we had talked about, and now we're back to 49 and neutral. So let's see what we got for those liquidations on the heat map this morning. We do have a little bit still sitting to the downside. It has been getting quite a bit hotter. We could very easily come down, grab this liquidity sitting at 110,400 all the way to the bottom side and 110,600 to the top side of that bottom side liquidity. We did grab the little bit of liquidity that was sitting directly toward the upside of us. We still have a little more liquidity sitting above us. If you start zooming this out though, this 3-day still has a lot of that liquidity towards the downside. So if we do get a bit of a volatile move, that PPI data comes out hot, which could very easily happen after we got one of the hottest prints in August. And if we see that trend continue into this month's, then we could really see that downside move coming in. That $110,000 Bitcoin would be an area to really watch for. We do have that 1 week with that liquidity back towards the upside here, still sitting with that broad range of liquidity from 113,600 all the way up to $114,000. Zooming on out a little bit further, you can see it a little bit better on that 2 week. That 2 week really shows that hot spot towards the upside here, 114,000 all the way down to 113,600. So a nice little broad range of liquidity that is coming in as some resistance. That is also that CME gap we had talked about the other day, and that came in as our resistance area. Let's hop over to that economic calendar, because we do have that hot data print coming out this morning. Make sure to tune in to Piper Academy. Piper will break that data down for you. We got 83% voting for an upside move on our trade, so we can definitely take a look at a few assets, see what we got there. Anyone throwing anything in the chat? Hyperliquid can definitely take a look at that one. Let's see, hype. Let me get that on the list there. All right. That big data drop for today, like I've been talking about for quite a while, to really secure a rate cut, we would need to see PPI coming in quite cooled down. If we see it coming out in that neutral range where PPI month over month without the core coming in at 0.3%, that's on top of an almost full percent increase from last month. That's still heading in the wrong direction. We would want to see this start to cool down just a little bit. Core PPI also sitting in that same 0.9% increase from last time, looking at 0.3 on top of that 0.9% increase. Definitely not heading in the right direction. We did get some negative PPI earlier in the year. That's kind of what you would want to see to really send things back in the right direction. Core PPI year over year, that's without that food and energy, coming in at 3.5% on the forecast, a little bit of a cool down from almost 4%, which was a massive increase that we had seen last time on the year over year. The PPI year over year for non-core, though, sitting in a little bit of a better range, 3.3, which is still massively above that Fed's target, and looking at a holding of that range with the year over year at 3.3 on the forecast. If we come in equal on those forecasts, I do think people see that as bullish news. If we come in under, which would be what we would want to see, especially if we want a rate cut, then that would be a bullish as well. Anything over is a hot PPI print and would definitely take away from the chances of that rate cut. So tune in to Piper Academy at 10 a.m. for the breakdown of that PPI data. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart. Say good morning to everyone in the chat. We got a few people in here this morning and a few lurkers in the background. So good morning to all of you lurkers that haven't hopped into the chat and said good morning. Good morning to all of you. Let's see who we got in here this morning. We got Jesse Gluck first in the chat, like always. Good morning to you, sir. We got Dylan VA in here. He said, hi all, hope you have a good day. Well, I hope you've had a great day as well, Dylan VA. Let's get prepped for some success, because you know we got some hot data drops that might shake up the market today. Steve Hickey in here. He said he can't tag. He's at the gym. I wish I had some time for the gyms in the morning. You know, I used to go to the gym every single morning before I did my show, and my work schedules kind of screwed that on up. So I've been missing the gym in my life. So hit a few sets for me, brother. We've got Jay in the chat this morning. He said, morning all. Well, good morning to you, sir. Let's see who else we got in here. I can't pronounce your name, so if I butcher it, don't come after me. But Anal Daggle, he said KX Deju. I'm not sure if that's a crypto project, but if it is, let me know. We've got All Set in here bright and early. Good morning, sir. Hope you're having a great day. Another name I'm probably gonna butcher, D Lun. So good morning to you. And we got the King Dgen JR in the chat as well. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you're having a great day. Oh, we've got Trade Intuition sliding in here. If you are a member, throw those bingo bangos in the chat. All right, let's hop into this Bitcoin chart here. If we can get my computer to stop throwing up those updates, might just have to take a day to update my computer in the background. We got Crypto Manipulation Trader. Hi, bro. Can you give your TA on Sweet? I most definitely can. We will save that for a little bit later in the show, unless you're wanting me to potentially do a group trade on Sweet. So we got 80% votes for an upside move. Let's take a look at a few of these assets, and then we will decide together what asset we would like to take a trade on. All right, we do see Bitcoin sitting in a very decent area, maintaining that 12 or that 111,800 on these daily candles. We did get those nice wicks below it, really trying to show that we can hold that price range though on the higher term time frame. That's that confluence that we really want to get us back up towards the CME gap. This is the bottom side of this sideways range that we were in from about July, the beginning of July, all the way until we got this big liquidity grab at the end of August. So a big range to really get back into. That's going to be that 111,800 for our bottom side. We need to start maintaining that. We are getting those nice strong bounces off of some key levels that we had been watching on, that 108,300 and that bottom side golden pocket fib extension came in as some strong support. We really need to see this 111,800 come in as that next strong support level. We have been seeing the CME gap come in as strong resistance. We keep getting rejections off of the bottom side of that CME gap. This would allow us to really come in with some strength. We're seeing a little bit of some sideways movements if you zoom this on into the shorter term time frame. So we're going to have to watch this money flow. We are seeing this daily money flow still maintaining in some light selling pressure. Nothing too worrisome here, as you can very quickly switch that daily money flow if you see that money flow bleeding over from the short-term time frame into our higher term time frame here. You are sitting at a nice position to see some continuation towards the upside, as you've got that MACD crossing to the top side, and you've got several bullish divergences stacked up here on the prime oscillator, a reversal signal that has flashed, and that prime oscillator and just waiting on some money flow to start coming on in here so we can see that get that continued curve towards the upside here. Let's zoom this on in. Take a look at the 4-hour chart here. We are seeing those very equal highs come in. You're starting to see a little bit of a selling wick on this 4-hour candle here, but that MACD and that prime oscillator looking a little bit nice. If you can continue to see this green money flow here on the 4-hour and have that bleeding over into the daily here, you are continuing to still make those higher lows on the 4-hour, and that's what we've been wanting to see. It has been coming in a little bit shallower than we were getting at the beginning, but that nice side a little bit and really get you that nice strong move towards the upside. If you see that nice green strong money flow coming on in, the CME gap above us is still resistance. That bottom side to really watch for is going to be that 13,500 for the bottom side of that. If we can get into that CME gap and continue to see that green money flow, we can close this CME gap. That's that broad range of liquidity towards the upside that we were talking about earlier. Taking a look at this 1-hour chart here, you can see a little bit of some toppiness, but that money flow still sitting nice and green here. And if we can see that continuation, if we hold that 111,800, then you could really get that move back towards the upside here. If you don't hold that, we really got some nice strong levels directly below that, coming in at about 111,600 there. That was the highs from before. Retest that, continue towards the upside. If you are not able to hold this little range here, looking back down to that bottom side at golden pocket fib extension at 110, 200, 300 might not be too much, might not be much more of a drastic move towards the downside to really keep your eye on. A lot of this is going to depend on our PPI data drop this morning though. So if we do get that hot PPI data drop, looking all the way back to 108, 200 might be something to kind of keep in mind. Let's see. We got any other assets we should take a look at this morning? We're almost done with that Bitcoin chart there. We do have that 15-minute also looking a little bit toppy here. It is trying to see a little bit of some consolidation this morning. As you can see, we're trying to maintain that lows here at 112. 200. We are seeing that little bit of a sideways break below our indicator line here, and that prime oscillator starting to get some curvature as that money flows making that appearance back into some green on the shorter term time frame. But we did have a little bit of some pressure on that hourly, so to see that continue to move down would not be too unexpected here. Let's see what we got. We had hype to take a look at for a potential trade. Let's scroll that on down. We got hype here. I don't know if I've ever done TA on hype. No one ever requests it. Nice strong asset. It's done extremely well this bull market. Let's get this zoomed on out to a daily look. Get this fib extension pulled on up here. We might need to go from the real macro. Let's get this pulled up on the weekly here. There we go. I guess we'll zoom that on back to the daily. You don't get that nice clean look there. All right, you are seeing some nice moves and continuation towards the upside for hype, unlike a lot of the crypto projects here. So let's get our current range. We've got the lows to the high to the low here, and seeing that top side come in as a little bit of resistance. Let's get that next one drawn up here. We got the lows to the high to the low, and we're sitting on top of the golden pot, on top of that one line on our fib extensions here. So let's zoom this on in. That daily is looking a little bit toppy here, so could easily continue towards the upside if you see a favorable PPI print. I would not fade this one though. We do see Ondo as well, and then we had Sui. So Ondo. All right, let's see what we got for the shorter term time frame here. That 4 hour also looking a little bit toppy, but you have seen hype make those moves before. Nice little consolidation and continuation off of that platinum pocket. Nice little consolidation, could get some continuation off of the one line here. Let's see what that shorter term time frame is looking like here. 1 hour. Got that bearish divergence, so you really could see a little more downside here. Volume is a little bit low. You can see last time we got that bearish divergence, we didn't get a drastic move towards the downside here, but then we pulled back up towards that platinum pocket and really launched off of it. So to see us pull back to that one line here, 53.45 would be that area to kind of watch for. Would give us that next little bouncing area to continue on up towards our 1618. That target coming in at about $60 on the dot. Let's see what that 15 minutes looking like. 15-minute also continuing to see that toppiness there. Definitely could see that one line coming back into play. We did get that nice bounce off of it there. So if we don't get all the way down there, looking at almost our current price range, $54.18 would be that area to kind of watch for a bounce on the short-term time frame. That's coming in from the highs back there, 54.31 being that area to kind of watch for there. All right, that was hype. Let's take a look at Sui real quick. We got Sui getting above that 50% on our fib retracement. Let's zoom this out. Been a little while since we've really taken a look at some Sui. We do have a few areas to kind of watch above us. That's going to be 376. I don't know why I'm messing up those prices this morning. All right, we got that nice break above our indicator line here on that MACD. You got that prime oscillator with a bullish divergence and getting that curvature towards the upside here. 50% being a little bit of a hold up point. You saw us get a little bit of a rejection off of the 50 moving average here. We're really waiting to see if we can get that nice hold up at the 50, coming in at $3.50, and then continue on up to $3.76. Daily does look nice for a little continuation. If we get some nice PPI data, we get that 4 hour looking a little cooled off, a little more cooled off than Bitcoin is. MACD getting some curvature here though, Prime oscillator also getting a little bit of some curvature, but this hourly is seeing that sideways momentum coming on in. So if you get that nice green money flow on the short-term time frame, could really get that nice little bounce and continuation off of the 50 there. So that'd be that area I'd kind of want to watch for a trade on Sweet. If we take that one, 15-minute looking a little bit cooled off there. So maybe the lows of this range coming in at about $3.50 to $3.48. That'd be that little buy zone I'd want to hit if we were to take a trade on Sweet. Let's see. We also had Ondo. I think that one's way down here in my favorites. No. I guess not there. All right, Ondo. I believe I had it on my list. I just can't find it off the bat. Ondo making some nice strong moves towards the upside there. For a continuation, not a bad asset. We do have a little bit of some resistance directly above us that I would kind of keep my eye on. That is $1.10. That's an area to kind of watch for. And then you have that very strong resistance below our golden pocket coming in at $1.14. So let's get some horizontals drawn out here. $1.11 being that first one to really watch for, and this one coming in above that $1.14. That's going to be our little bit of a resistance box to keep our eye on towards the upside. Let's make those a little bit thicker so we know that they're a strong resistance. Jesse and your Libra calls. Jesus, are you turning into username now, sir? Let's see. We got maybe a Band-Aid in here. Good morning, good morning. And I did see one other name, Dre. Good morning to you. Well, BTC pump later. A lot of that is going to depend on how our PPI data comes out this morning. We did give some upside targets to really keep our eye on this morning. That's coming in at that 114, 200 area. That's going to be our top side golden pocket fib extension. The CME gap is our real resistance directly towards the upside, but if we get some favorable PPI data, we could really blast on through that. So let's zoom this on in, see if Ondo's looking nice for a little bit of a trade, a continuation trade toward the upside, because it's already got some nice strong movements here. Hourly is looking a little bit nice. It does have that bearish divergence. Here we go, bearish divergence as we make those higher highs and a little bit of a lower high there, but that MACD does not have that bearish divergence. Seeing a little bit of sideways momentum. Prime oscillator getting some curvature back towards the upside, so Ondo could very easily continue on towards the upside there. 15-minute looking nice and cooled off, so Ondo not a bad trade. We do have some levels directly above us that would be a nice little bit of a target, $1.06. If we can really hold that as some support, could very easily continue all the way up to $1.11. So let's see what everyone wants to take a trade on this morning. We did have Bitcoin. That's always the number one option there. We had Sui, we have Hype, and we have Ondo. So Sui, Ondo, and Hype coming in last. Y'all get your votes in. We will hop into some of this data that we're looking at for today. And then if we have some time, we will do some extra TA at the end. So if you do have any TA requests, let me know. We got about 20 minutes. Caliphant saying Bitcoin short. Well, everyone voted long, so vote for the asset you think would perform the best towards the upside. Make sure to keep that in mind. Let's see. JR saying, what's for Din Din? Sir, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. It is breakfast time. Oh, JR, it is evening for her. So you have a good dinner. Let's see. We got K Diggity in the chat this morning as well. Good morning to you, sir. Let's get you prepped for some success. You are just in time for some of this data talk. All right. This was from last month. We had that US producer inflation heating up. Oh, she's saying a roast pork. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. We're talking meat in the chat. Before I get too distracted, let's hop into some PPI. All right. We got that US producer price inflation really heating up from that August data print, which is why we're going to be keeping our eye on this morning's PPI print. We saw a massive increase after a very neutral month. We did have some nice cool offs back in March and April. That was a continuation of the cool off from February after we saw some of the hottest PPI prints that we had seen in a long time. PPI had been maintaining quite nicely, got a nice little heat up, a cool down, and then we've really been continuing to heat up. This June print had a lot to do with some of that tariff information that was coming on out. So this month, along with that quarter two GDP, was not really the best month to kind of watch on that data drops. This July coming in extremely hot is heading in the wrong direction. If you really want to see a rate cut, that's what's kind of led me to believe all of this heat up here, the tariff kind of negating a lot of that PPI, and then to see that continuation kind of leads you to believe that without all of the tariff nonsense, that PPI would have just maintained a lot of this high printing here. You do have maintaining above that 0.5% increase would have probably been coming in had we not had all of the tariff news. The tariffs really messed with a lot of our data drops, messed with GDP numbers, messed with inflation numbers, because it really tipped the balance on those scales there. So I am watching for this morning's PPI print to see that coming in above that 0.75 would not be some positive news here. We have been seeing that trend continue towards the upside, and that is why we want to watch today's PPI print and then watch tomorrow's CPI print as well, because this 0.9% increase towards the upside in July could very, very easily come in on the CPI print that we're going to see on Thursday. Producer prices often end up being eaten by the consumer and impacting that CPI print as well. So let's get over to TradingView and pull up that data that we were looking at this morning, diving back on into it, that core PPI without our food and energy. So that is more the preferred metric, but I think it really negates a lot of that PPI information that we want to see, because the biggest spending sectors for your average American is going to include that food and energy. So to see that continue to increase, which is a little bit of a move in the wrong direction and negate some of that possibility of a Fed rate cut, would be that thing to watch for. So watch the PPI month over month and the core PPI month over month. We did see it come in the hottest it's been since COVID last month. So that's why you need to watch this PPI print. All right. I don't have a whole lot more to harp on the PPI, but that's that big data drop for the week. The PPI is the Fed's preferred metric when factoring in rate cut or rate hike decisions. So this is inflation heading in the wrong direction and massively above that 2% target. Everyone saying that the Fed is late to cut because we're seeing a little bit of some weakness in the job market. Surprise, surprise, we've been seeing that weakness. This is not new data. We did have that cut when Joe Biden was in office, but it didn't really help the economy. We did see the same thing happening over in Europe. We saw them cutting rates because you saw some weakness in the labor market. Guess what happened to them? They are seeing inflation massively increasing. Do we want to be heading in that same direction? Everyone's saying, a rate cut is going to be bullish, but it has been really screwing with other economies. It has been forcing them closer and closer to recession pressures. So that is why I keep warning on that, and we will keep harping on that as we get closer to that rate cut, especially if we continue to see some of these metrics heading in the wrong direction. All right. We did want to take a look at that H bar chart this morning. If we got any other alt requests, go ahead, throw those in the chat. If I missed your alt request, throw that in the chat for me again. So looks like 56% voting for a Bitcoin trade. So towards that end of the show, we will take a look at Bitcoin again and decide where we want to enter and then find our upside targets. Caliphant saying, I like H-bar. Yeah, it's a very, very technological, strong project. Fundamentals haven't mattered as much this cycle. This cycle has mostly been a hype cycle, but H-bar still a very, very strong project there. It is a hash graph, moves very similarly to the way that the Casper project moves. This is a blockchain that allows you to put blocks pretty much anywhere on the blockchain. If it fits, it ships, and it allows you to move information quite faster than your traditional blockchains do. All right, we got this H-bar chart looking extremely nice. If you can get above our trend line here to really see some continuation towards the upside. This is why I wanted to take a look at that H-bar chart. You know, that H-bar chart really waiting for that strong breakout and continuation towards the upside here. It is consolidated quite nicely below our 50% line, was maintaining that golden pocket quite nicely for a little while. We did get those nice liquidity grabs. That 22.5 cent point was our strong area to watch for some support on. This nice little dip below was our nice strong liquidity sweep for anyone that had been piling up longs in this area. Their liquidations would have been underneath here, so a nice little liquidity grab, push back to our resistance area, and we are extremely primed for a break towards the upside here. You can see your MACD getting that nice move above our indicator line. We've got that nice strong move on our prime oscillator towards the upside as well here. Just waiting on that short-term time frame money flow to really bleed over into this higher term time frame. Would really like to see that breakout retest on our golden pocket here. That's coming in at 23.40. So that's that area to kind of watch for a breakout retest and continuation there. You do have this daily looking nice and primed. That 1 hour could potentially see a little more cool off as that golden pocket has come in as resistance all over again. That's kind of what we were expecting. We did talk about that the other day. You are seeing that curvature back towards the downside, but this time with that curvature back towards the downside, our prime oscillator is maintaining that green, and that MACD is still printing those green candles here. So to see us hold price up here back down at about basically 23 cents here would be that move to kind of watch for, and then we could really get that breakout retest on our golden pocket and continue on towards the upside. 15-minute also continuing to see that toppiness there, but could definitely see that get some nice strong bounces from the lows of our range here. As you can see, that prime oscillator has already got that nice strong cool off here. That MACD continuing to see a little downside here, but we got a very nice strong support level directly below us. Let's get that drawn out as a short-term time frame bounce. That's coming in directly below 23 cents. It's kind of where we're trying to point to right now. That would give us a little bit of some strength on both the 15-minute and the hourly to see a little bit of some continuation towards the upside there. So that's going to be that area we would look for a bit of a long position if you want that very early entry on H bar. If we don't hold that, looking all the way back down to about 22 57. That'd be that area to kind of watch for if we don't maintain this price point. That'd be that nice little secondary entry point if you like to ladder in. This would be the preferred entry here is a retest of our resistance and then a continuation above that golden pocket. So either a golden pocket retest or a resistance retest would be that entry point that's coming in about 23.5 cents. So that's that area to kind of watch for your safer long entry there. We're seeing Bitcoin be that vote for a long. Did you look at ETH, says Celephant. I did not. We can definitely take a look at ETH. ETH, nice and consolidated. Y'all having some fun. AVAX short about to be in profit, says JR. Yeah, we did talk about AVAX seeing a little bit of some downside the other day. So we can definitely take a look at Ethereum. We got Dusty Hunt in the chat this morning. Good morning to you. That's a tricky name if you're going to say it fast there. But I speak a little bit slower. It is bright and early, so that helps quite a bit. I've seen quite a few people fumbling on your name. We have all the fun. Yeah, you guys most definitely do. Y'all are some absolute degens in the chat sometimes. We are continuing on this higher low that we had saw. We were looking for that bounce at 4,210 has been our very strong area of support. That has come in now 3 times. We got that nice little bounce off of 4,072. Got that bounce off of 4,010 when we saw that nice rejection towards the upside. Really came back down to that 4,210. Saw a little bit of some sideways consolidations here in our broader range, and then we drop back down to 4,210. And now we're seeing nice and consolidating price action in a smaller level here. So nice and consolidated here for ETH on that higher term time frame. You can see a lot of strong buying wicks directly below us. That price coming in at about 4,277, so almost 4,300 for our strong support directly below us, and then that would give us that continuation move towards the upside. You can see that prime oscillator and MACD both kind of primed if we can see that nice continuation of money flow in the green to get that nice strong move back up to about 4,650. Let's zoom this on in. Take a look at that hourly. As you can see here, that hourly really shows that nice consolidated price action. We have been struggling to get above $4,385, but we do have nice strong support directly below us at that 4,277. This hourly is looking a little bit toppy here, but you are making those higher lows on the shorter term time frame here, and seeing that money flow dip into the red very briefly as you make those higher lows really shows that a slowdown of volume has been the slowdown of selling pressure. So really watching for us to get above $4,385 and then continue up to the top side of this sideways trading range at 4,400 basically 4,500 there. So let's get that sideways one set up there. 4,500 has been our strong resistance towards the top side of this sideways trading range here. We'll get that drawn up a little bit better for the retest on those wicks. There we go. Got that pulled up. 4,499 is that area to kind of watch for. That's where we've seen all of the selling pressure directly above us. We have been consolidating quite nicely here on the shorter term time frame, and that would allow you for that nice strong push towards the upside if you can really break with some strong money flow above 4,380. So next resistance area above us coming in at that 4,500 area. We got Dutchy in the chat. Good morning, sir. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Let's hop over to that Bitcoin chart here. and see what we'd be looking at for a long. We did talk about seeing a little bit of some downside potentials here. If we can get back down to 112, about 150, that'd be my preferred entry there. We did have the hourly looking a little bit nice for some continuation. If you see the money flow, that was that area we were kind of watching for. Let's get that back to the daily there. That daily is that area that is looking nice and primed for some continuation towards the upside here. PPI data comes out favorably. We really get that nice strong green money flow on that short-term time frame. That'd bleed into our higher-term time frame here. We've got all of those bullish divergences primed as well, so watching to see that continuation towards the upside. About 13,500 would be that area I would be okay with potentially taking some profits at. That top side target really coming in at 114,200 there. That'd be that golden top side golden pocket fib extension. So we could put in that long for let's see, a little bit of that price hold up here. So if we do get that dip back down on the 15-minute, I'd probably put that limit order there. That way we get a little bit of some cheaper trading fees. 4 hour was also looking nice for that continuation on towards the upside there. So hourly could continue on towards the upside, and 15-minute really the only thing that's really needing some cool off there. So now, not a terrible time to enter. You see that PPI data coming out favorably. That'd really give you that strong move up towards the upside. I'd probably put my stop loss down here around the lows, really coming in 110 200 if we use some lighter leverage there. So I will get that trade entered after the show, because it is about time to head over to that morning motivational video at Billy Goat Tales. So I will see y'all in the chats. I will see y'all at that morning market report at 10 a.m. That's going to be that place to get the breakdown of the PPI data. We also got trading with OC at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're up late and you like to have some fun, that is the place to be. Don't miss out on all of those trade setups by OC. That man is a beast on the charts. Until the next time, I will see y'all in the chats. Make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.